the replay video. Tell us where you're joining from. Tell us where you're watching from. We would like to know. It's also a networking session. And so you can share your LinkedIn on the chat if you like connections, if you like to interact with other people on the same journey as you, or if you're interested in a particular pathway, if you're interested in widening your network, it's not a bad idea to share. It's not a bad idea to share your LinkedIn in the chat. You may never know, you may be forming connections that may be for a lifetime. Welcome to eMigr8 Open Day. Today's Open Day, we are focused on France, specifically the French tech visa. Could you confirm if you can hear me on the chat? Also, please confirm if you can see my screen in a moment. If you can hear me, please confirm in the chat. Also, don't forget to drop where you're connecting from. We would like to know. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you are joining us from on today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day. It's a 1.5 hour to 2 hour journey, but probably about 1.5 hour journey, where we will be exploring the French tech visa. If you're an investor in the room, if you are a startup founder in the room, or if you're a startup employee in the room, you may want to pay attention to this pathway to relocation and settlement. We'll be sharing a lot of tips. We'll be sharing a lot of things you should be aware of. We would hopefully inspire you, we'll hopefully educate you, and also inform you about what you should be doing, about what your profile should look like if you're interested in migrating or settling in France. We'll be sharing a lot of information about that during this session. If you're an absolute beginner in the room, you're welcome. This session is for you. Don't feel intimidated when we talk about some of the requirements, because our message to you is that you can actually grow and fulfill those requirements in a matter of months in some cases, or maybe a matter of a few years, 1 or 2 years in some cases. If you are already qualified, you're welcome. This is also a session for you, because in this session, we will give you tips as regards what you should be doing now towards applying for the French tech visa, regardless of which one of those 3 levels. Is it for startup, is it for employee, or is it for investors? We have our coach in the room. Please confirm if you can see my screen. We have our coach in the room already. Rednan, I had to pronounce saying his name. Rednan Desa is in the room, and is going to be sharing his journey towards the French tech visa, and we're going to all be learning from that journey. Today's session is packed. It's 1.5 hours or more, and during this session, we will be touching on quite a number of things. And if you wait till the end of the session, we do have a gift for you. You will need to wait till the end of the session for you to find out what that gift is. Today's session, we'll start by sharing with you a little bit of information about the eMigr8 platform. Then we'll get into the coaching session itself, where Rednan will be sharing about a number of things that would help you. We would also share about the eMigr8 and eMigr8 AI specifically, and we will also share some information around the French tech visa. Then we'll get into question and answers. Please drop your questions in the chat. You know that some of these questions you may forget. So as soon as those questions come to your mind, drop them in the chat, and we will get to as many questions as possible during this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Bear in mind that we'll not be able to bring you on stage for the open coaching session. We won't be able to do that during this session today. Instead, we will be sharing, we will be taking your questions from the chat. Also, if you are watching the replay video, you can make a comment on whatever platform you're watching this, and we will get your question to one of the eMigr8 coaches who will be able to answer within the shortest possible time. And so for those of us live on the call, Don't forget, as soon as you have questions, drop them in the chat and we will get to them. We'll also be sharing information about some of the programs from our partners and our incubating company, which is Bincom. And we'll also be sharing some information around the Settle in the UK as a tech talent program that eMigr8 has to offer. As I mentioned earlier, if you haven't done so, please download the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. That's the place to start. A lot of this information is already packaged in the app. We continue to build this app to be able to impact tens of thousands, if not millions of people all at the same time with the right information, with the right education, with the right roadmap, and with the right direction to help with your relocation journey, your settlement journey, and even your integration journey in your new country. We've done several eMigr8 Open Day sessions in the past, and we do have a number of these replay videos available to you. Most of them are available on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. You will find some of them on YouTube as well. And so take advantage of these open days. These are sessions where different coaches have shared their journey, they've shared their experiences, they've shared tips for you to help you qualify for one visa or the other. And when I talk about one visa or the other, I'm talking about the French Tech Visa. I'm talking about the UK Global Talent Visa. I'm talking about the Australia Global Talent Visa, which is now called the National Innovation Visa. Or talking about the US EB1 visa, US O1 visa. Name them. If it's a tech visa, we likely have touched on them on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. We've touched on Hong Kong routes and several different routes that would be of use for you. So take a look at the platform, take a look at the app, and take a look at some of these information because it may just be the key to your next level and the key to you becoming globally attractive. Today's session, though, we are focused on France. We're focused on the French Tech Visa as a pathway to global talent mobility. The app, download the app. You will hear me say this a lot and use the app. We also have a lot of incentive for you if you use the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. You will get a number of gifts. For example, if you use the app for 7 days in a row, you will get a gift, for example, unlocked on that app. We also have the Settle in the UK as a tech talent package on the eMigr8 platform. This is a package that is available for you if you're an absolute beginner in the field of tech. If you already have some experience in the field of technology, this route may even be shorter for you to relocate and settle in the UK. Also, if you already have some startup experience, this route would even be much shorter for you as regards a pathway to relocating and settling in the UK. If you're already in the UK and you're looking for a pathway to switch to a visa that is on a pathway to settlement in the UK, this is also a package that you may want to take a look at. It's a route that will require at least 3 to 6 months in terms of the timeline, and you would require some sort of investment in your profile, in your career, towards you becoming globally attractive. But this is something you may want to take a look at on the eMigr8 platform. On the eMigr8 platform as well, we have quite a number of open days coming up, different sessions around the UK Innovator Founder Visa, the UK Global Talent Visa, which is the Tech Nation Visa. We have sessions around move to the US as a global talent, looking at the EB2 NIW, National Interest Waiver, looking at the O1 visa for individuals with extraordinary ability, looking at the Canada Startup Visa, and several other visa pathways along these lines. But then a question you probably ask is, what is eMigr8? I'll tell you in short. What we do at eMigr8 is we help you become globally attractive. That's the main reason why we do this. But yes, we understand that many of us are in the room today because you're interested in one visa pathway or the other. What we would like to share with you is the fact that most forward-thinking countries of the world have made different visa pathways available to you if you can show that you're a talent. They are not doing you a favor. The reason why the pathways are available is because they know that net, they will be the beneficiary of that transaction. You would move with your ideas. You will move with your skill. You would move with your talent. You will move with your innovation. You will earn high salary in their jurisdiction. You will pay taxes in their jurisdiction. And so they've calculated it to say, yes, move to our jurisdiction, move with your family, because at the end of the day, we will be net beneficiary of that journey. And that's what we help you to find out on the eMigr8 platform. That's what we help you to qualify for on the eMigr8 platform. That's what we help you to discover around the relocation journey, around the settlement journey, and also around integration when you move into a new economy. We've built technology to help you get there. We've made coaches available to help you get there on the coaching marketplace. And we've made different parts of the platform, the AI, the community, and so on available to help you get there. And when we say globally attractive, there are two options. It could be you as an individual, but in some cases, it could be your startup, your tech-enabled business that could become your visa, and in some cases, your ticket and everything else to your relocation. And this is what we do on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. Our services cover things like information, general inquiry, coaching and handholding. We do preliminary assessment. We help you with a self-directed roadmap. We help you with a roadmap towards you being globally attractive. We help with things like reviewing your application. If you say, oh, I'm working on the UK Global Talent application, is this fine or should I still do some more work? Some of those things are available on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. It gets better though, because most of what we do on the platform, we actually do at no cost to you, free of charge. A lot of the things on the platform and is free. And this is because we operate a freemium model. Over 80% of what we do is free. But yes, we do charge a premium for some of our services on the platform. And so you may want to take a look at some of the offerings on the platform, starting from the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. If you haven't done so while you're on this call right now, download the app, register for the app, log into the app, because this is where you would get access and unlock many of these benefits and features available on the platform. We've got information and inspiration sessions like this one, and our coach for today is already on the call and is going to be taking over from me in a couple of minutes to talk you through the French Tech Visa. We've got the eMigr8 community on 6 different social media platforms where you can benefit. We have open days focused on different visa opportunity. We've got the open coaching sessions. We have premium group coaching session. We have office hours. We have pre-evaluation and self-assessment solutions that you can use on the platform. We have different do-it-yourself templates if you're doing it yourself, and so on. In addition, you also can get one-on-one time with an individual coach on the platform at no cost to you. For now, we are only able to do one of those sessions per person to talk to a coach on one-on-one. So what we advise you do is take advantage of all of the things available for free to you. Do your own research. Don't go to that session and say, what is the French Tech Visa? Go to that session and be able to ask questions that is personalized to you. No two individuals are the same, not even twins. Their careers may be different. Their journey may be different. And so make sure that when you are going for some of those short coaching sessions, particularly the free one, you are going with a lot of information. You've spent the time, you've done your own research, you've done your journey, you've started your journey, and then you are using that at the point where you need it the most. And there are ways in which to get more of those free sessions on the platform. As I mentioned, if you wait till the end, we do have a gift for you. On the premium side, we have eMigr8 Circle, which is a premium community and a premium part of the platform that gives you access to a lot more on the platform. We have personalized coaching sessions that can help with things like, oh, help me build my roadmap. We have standard packages, premium packages, and several others on the platform. And so one of the things we typically will need you to do on the platform is to choose where do you fall. Are you looking for a do-it-yourself approach, DIY, which is that, oh, I'm going to be doing all of this myself, but I just need some support. this platform is available to you. A lot of our free offering is also available to you. But we do have some premium offering around do it with me approach, which is a case where we would actually handhold you through our coaching sessions, through working with a one-on-one with a coach to be able to do it with me. And then we have the do it for me approach. You will still be the talent. You still need to qualify, but do it for me approach would be that a lot of the logistic and heavy lifting would actually be handled for you by the platform. And so if you're interested in any of these, don't forget to drop a message or go to emigrate8visa.com, and then you can let us know what you're interested in if you're interested in any of the services on the eMigr8 platform. We have packages as well, focusing on different visa pathways. Packages focused on the UK Global Talent Visa, UK Innovator Founder Visa, the US O1 Visa, Canada Startup Visa, and we've got the Settle in the UK package that comes with the eMigr8 guarantee. That package actually targets your profile towards 3 UK visas at the same time with the eMigr8 guarantee. And that's the UK Global Talent Visa, UK Innovator Founder Visa, and the UK Skilled Worker Visa. The point we're making is that there's a lot available to you on the platform, and it's up to you to be able to say what it is that you need and you're interested in on the platform. eMigr8 community, please join. The eMigr8 app, please download. And don't forget that if you download the app and use it for 7 days in a row, if you get a 7-day streak, you do unlock additional benefits on the platform. But please note that 7-day streak means you use the app every day for 7 days. So if you miss one day, if you get to day 5 and then you miss one day, it will reset to 0 at this point. We're working on new features. We are gamifying it. And so you will hear us talk a lot more about this over a period of time. Also on the app, if you refer a friend to the platform, you will get £35 and the friend will get £35. And this is at the point when they unlock their benefits on the platform. And so we have a lot available to you on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. We hope that you will join us on that platform and work with us to help your journey towards being globally attractive. eMigr8 is incubated by Bincom Dev Center, and we will talk a little bit about some of the Bincom Dev Center programs and services that may be of help to your journey. The Bincom Global Tech Program will help you if you're a beginner in the field of technology and you're looking at getting into the field of technology. The pillars are learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure in the field of technology. If you're an absolute beginner, this is useful for you. However, even if you're at the intermediate level in terms of your journey and you understand that, oh, there's a lack of experience or maybe a lack of exposure, referencing, and several others, you may want to consider this program because it will help you with the journey. And the program itself is 1 to 2 years with the Global Tech Program, but this is a 3-month subset of that program that you could use as part of your journey. And this would be a part of what you need to do towards being globally attractive. And many of the visa pathways we talk about, particularly the one we are talking about today, the French Tech Visa, is not available for you if you're an absolute beginner. But when you're at intermediate or advanced level in the field of technology, a lot more options start unlocking for you. If you're already at the advanced stage in the field of technology, we invite you to mentor on the Bincom mentoring platform. The mentoring platform is highly competitive. We get a lot of feedback to say, oh, but I applied, but they didn't get back to me. Well, we get back to them, but we didn't bring you on board the platform. It is highly competitive. So we go through an assessment process to get the mentors that will be able to mentor on the platform. But we invite you to apply because we have a number of mentees in the Bincom Tech Network who are looking for mentors such as yourself, particularly if you're already in the advanced level in the field of technology. And some of us may know already that some of the ways in which you can learn talent visas would be pointing at some of the mentoring that you've done on a structured platform. This is one of such structured platform that you can actually apply to and see if you can mentor on. We have the Labs by Beacom as well, and this is a pre-incubator program. With the pre-incubator program, what we do is we bring you in with 3 to 10 other people into a room, virtual room that is, to create a startup that will be used by real life users. It's a good pathway if you're looking for practical learning. The best way to learn to build a startup is to actually build a startup. It's good if you're looking for additional products or projects in your portfolio. It's good for you if you're looking for ways to improve your career. And it's good for you if you're looking for practical learning experience. If you see that you've got a gap in a certain part of your journey and you would like to fill in that gap with additional experience, this is something you could do part-time and can build your profile to become a much more well-rounded, highly sought-after tech professional, and also help you to become a startup founder. And that's Labs by Beacom. You may be interested in taking a look. And the last service I'll talk about is the tech career coaching. This is available in the UK, but we will be launching this for Canada and also Germany in the coming months. It helps you to land your next role in the field of technology faster. It helps you to build the relevant experience in your target country with connection to technical recruiters. And some of those roles will actually come with work sponsorship, work visa sponsorship that allows you to either move to the UK, or if you're already in the UK already, it would allow you to continue working in the UK under a new employer. If you're interested in that, the link is on the screen as well. And I believe my colleague would drop the link in the chat. This is a landscape that you may be interested in just taking a screenshot of if you haven't already. This landscape shows you some of the different tech visa opportunities available. This is not an exhaustive list of visa opportunities. It's not even an exhaustive list of tech visa opportunities. It's just here to help you get an idea of some of the different opportunities that you can look at different levels. From the startup category, where we have the UK Innovator Founder Visa, the US IEP, the Canada Startup Visa, and today we are focused on France, where we'll be talking about the French Tech Visa. Is one of those visa categories that actually cuts across both startup, talent, and also work-based opportunities. The lowest common denominator for all these visa pathway is that be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you have options. On eMigr8 Tech Visa at the moment, we focus on pathways that is a pathway to settlement. It could be a direct pathway to settlement or an indirect pathway to settlement. We focus on opportunities that allow you to move with your family, and we focus on opportunities that beginners can plan. But the interesting news is that we are now expanding the eMigr8 platform. Aside from tech, we are now expanding over the next few months. We're expanding the platform to be able to serve other verticals, and we're expanding the platform as well to bring in more pathways onto the platform. But yeah, if you're interested in all of this, we are focused on tech-enabled opportunities at the moment on the platform. And for many of these opportunities, we actually discuss in depth in eMigr8 Open Days, where you can take a look at the videos on the platform. The eMigr8 Tech Visa landscape is also available for you if you use the platform, because the landscape, what we did and what the team did with this landscape is we took a look at different visa opportunities. Newbies can plan, intermediate and experts. What are the qualification criteria? What's the roadmap for you to be able to qualify? What are the costs? What are the pathway to settlement, whether direct or indirect? All of that is available for you on the tech visa landscape, which is available on the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. And this is also available at no cost to you. Now, if you say, I don't yet qualify for this visa opportunity, as I hand over to our coach for today, one thing we want to mention to you is that what you should be doing is have a personalized roadmap for yourself. You should plan. What we've done is we are sharing with you the information of what your profile should look like, how you can qualify. But that's maybe the end state. Actually, not the end state, because don't forget, we tell you that what we would like you to be is globally attractive. So you have options. But then if you're an absolute beginner, you need to then plan to say from newbie to beginner to intermediate to expert, and then maybe to globally attractive. And at different levels, there are different visa pathways that will unlock for you. For example, the UK Innovator Founder Visa can unlock for you at the point of beginner, right? Because all you need is just idea. But of course, you have to show you're a genuine founder, which is part of why you may want to, first of all, be a founder before you apply for such a visa pathway. But then at intermediate level, many more opportunities unlock. And at the expert level, many, many more opportunities unlock. And so the point we're making is that you should plan your journey. And that's where the Tech Visa app comes in. That's where eMigr8 AI comes in. And that's where everything we do on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform comes in. You're welcome again if you're just joining us for this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. And today's session, we will be focused on the French Tech Visa. Our coach, Rednan, is already here, and I'm going to be handing over to him in a moment. But don't forget that if you wait till the end, as I said, you will get a gift from us, and we'll let you know the gift towards the end of this session. Also, if you have questions, don't forget to drop them in the chat. If you're watching this replay video, you can drop them in the comments on the platform where you're watching it. And what we will do is that we will get to as many questions live on this call as possible. We would answer more questions in the eMigr8 community. So if you haven't joined, please join the community. And also, we would ensure that we are able to add value to your journey. Welcome once again from us at eMigr8's Tech Visa platform. Rednan, I see you're ready already. Yeah. And so, yes, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us and thank you for spending your evening with us. I know it's evening in France at the moment. And so over to you, Rednan.
Hi, thank you, Badi. Thank you for having me and thank you for explaining the eMigr8 platform. As a matter of fact, someone sent me a DM to ask me if the eMigr8 itself is is a visa route. Yeah, so
not yet. We may get there.
Yeah, so thanks for explaining that. And I'm also happy to join the community. And fun fact is that I also applied for um, the UK innovator visa, but long story. But I felt like if I had some form of guidance, like what your profile, what this platform provides, I would have easily gotten because I had the profile, but I didn't arrange my stuff very, very well. Okay, so I'm going to be basically telling a story about how I got to France. Yeah, so first of all, my name is Rednan Desa, and I'm the founder of a fintech startup, Everyday Money. So Everyday Money helps businesses to better manage their expenses. We do that by helping this organization create a structure for their business. And in that structure, they're able to specify how expenses should be carried out in their organization. And what our system does is it helps them comply with those internal policies. And yeah, and these businesses can actually do that by just simply uploading their internal policies into our system. Then our system converts those internal policies into automated workflows that allow them to basically police them and so they can have so that they can run a business that builds trust with their partners, their stakeholders, and their investors. So the journey actually started in 2022 when I moved out of Jos. I moved out of Jos to Abuja, and the whole plan was in actually leaving the country. And leaving the country for me became very, very apparent because I was tired. I was tired of building because all of my life, all of my adult life, I'd actually spent it building for Nigeria, building solutions for helping companies to develop digital strategy for companies. I've worked with NISA Premier Hospital, where I developed their ICT policies and helped them implement those. I also I've been working with the Nigerian Air Force, and I'm instrumental in their digital strategy. And yeah, pretty much how my life has actually taken off is getting bored and finding new adventure elsewhere. Before coming to France, I'd also play around various startups. For example, I am one of the founding members of NHub. NHub is the first technology hub in northern Nigeria. And afterwards, I also led a startup of my own called Logical Address. The aim was to help give to give every Nigerian a home address, and that didn't really quite go well. So we pivoted into fintech. That was as far back as 2017, where we helped the government of Niger State and Imo State to aggregate revenue in their areas of vehicle administration, and we're able to collectively do a transactional turnover of over 2 million euros, and before the COVID-19. So fast forward back to 2022 was for I mean we parted ways, myself and my co-founder at the time, and we all went to work for different companies. Then fast forward to 2022, where we came back together again because we saw an opportunity where we could repurpose what we had done in 2017 through to 2020, how we could pivot. Like someone said that there is no failed startup except you decide that it's a failed startup. What you do is you pivot or you pivot. Yeah, so we pivoted the solution in 2022, but at that time I was already tired of building for Nigeria, so I wanted to build somewhere. And while building for somewhere, I was looking at being at a place where I could build a global product, no longer building for the local markets that I've been used to. And then yeah, so I tried the global tech visa, the UK. That didn't work out until I commenced the French tech visa, which is actually called talent, passport talent. Yeah, so pardon me, my French is mixing up with the English. Yes, so how that started was me reading about it. I mean, I've always known about the La French Tech, which is like the movement for the French tech ecosystem. I've always known about it for a long time, but never interested. Um, in fact, in 2016, when I traveled to Dubai for GITEX to exhibit, I was one of the 16. My startup was one of the 16 startups selected from Nigeria to exhibit in Dubai at the time. I even went to the La French Tech booth. They have a booth at GITEX where I asked a couple of questions. I mean, just for my self-edification. And so anyways, it wasn't new to me, but I started reading about the pathways. And one of the things I learned at that time was that you needed to belong to an incubator, a French-based incubator. You have to be recognized. You have to be working with a French-based incubator. And then secondly, the incubator needs to issue you some form of a letter of acceptance that, okay, like a letter to signify that you are working with them. And the next thing will be to apply for the letter of endorsement, which is similar to what the UK Tech Visa. And yeah, that's basically the process. So I reached out to someone on LinkedIn. I mean, I have enough experience to understand that uh, intros work faster than just pitching directly to anybody. It's easier when you get introduced by someone else than just throwing out an application out there. I mean, throwing out an application works, don't get me wrong, but I find it much easier with intros. So I met someone on LinkedIn who was willing to do me an intro to Schoolab, and I was asked for the pitch deck, and more importantly, the French government needs to know that whatever solution you're coming to build and develop in France needs to be highly innovative. And so it's up to me now to expose the innovative aspect of my product, because the French government needed to know that it can benefit whatever pitch you are submitting to the French government. They need to know that it can benefit its citizens as well. Well, I got into Schoolab. Schoolab is one of the incubators in France that is endorsed by the French government, recognized by the French government for this purpose. So I started the incubation program remotely. That was in November of 2023. It's a 6 month program. During the course of the program, it's completely remote, and most of the training sessions, we had training sessions, workshops, office hours, and most of the trainings are in French, and it requires you to have some basic knowledge of French if you have to follow. And if you my French wasn't that good. I mean, my French wasn't that good, but I was able to use technology to record, then transcribe every lessons, and then get an understanding of 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 every workshop that we had, except in office hours where you have one-on-one with coaches, mentors, and where if you're lucky enough for you to have, there are times where I was lucky enough to have mentors and coaches who speak English, and then we just speak English. Otherwise, they have to speak slowly at my own pace so I could catch up. Then within the course of the incubation, I applied for the letter of endorsement from the French government. So this is it is an independent application that you have to carry out yourself. You go to the French government website, you submit the letter of an endorsement, then you provide your business plan. So it's not like you just go and upload a business plan, but however, all of the questions that is demanded of you shows that it's actually a business plan that you're uploading. So you wait. I waited for like 1 month, then I got the endorsement letter, and that includes my co-founder as well, who also got the endorsement letter. So endorsement letter is what you need to provide to the local French embassy of your country, and you also need to show a proof of fund of about 24,000 euros, which is equivalent to the minimum wage in France. And the 24,000 euros is it's assumed to be like what you are going to be paying yourself for the 1 year before you achieve some form of profitability for your business. The assumption is that if you have 24,000 euros, you can live in France for 1 year because that's the minimum wage for a year. And so I will try as much as possible to mix with my challenges. When I started this whole process, the exchange rate was actually in my favor. In fact, I started the 24,000 euros was equivalent to about 16 million euros when I started this whole process. That was 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, I can do this. And when it was nearing, the whole incubation period and all of that, we all remember what was going on in Nigeria at the time. The whole thing floated above 1,000 to 1,500 and all of that. Then the proof of fund I was doing was kind of less than what was expected. I had to wait it out. Every day, I was looking at the exchange rate to see if it would come down to less than 1,000, to see if it can meet the French requirement, because I wasn't sure what would happen, and there wasn't a lot of information about people who have undertaken my route from Nigeria, from the Nigerian point of view. Nobody has published. I mean, I know someone who has done passport talent visa, but there was no documentation about how the whole process went. And well, I was able to solve that problem anyway by seeking more depth to be able to meet up. And then I applied to the French embassy and I got the visa. So I came to France in May of 2024. By that time, that was when I concluded my incubation program at Schoolab. And so I should have come earlier, but the whole exchange rate madness that was going on at the time slowed down the whole process. So yeah, so today I'm in school. I'm in Station F. This is Station F, as you can see. Station F represents the French tech ecosystem. Virtually everybody is here. There is Google on one side, somewhere down the lane. There is Binance, there is Facebook, there is TikTok. The whole ecosystem is here. Here you find there are investors who come in here to scout for startups. There are also hubs, accelerator programs that is being held here every day. And so this place, I needed to be part of this place. So I applied to be, because I mean, on arrival, you needed some place, apart from School Lab that I know. School Lab is also here, but they have their physical presence in town, somewhere inside Paris. And so I just needed to be able to expand my reach. That's why I applied to Station F, and Station F accepted me to be part of its ecosystem. Then on the issue of accommodation in France, accommodation in France has a lot of is especially Paris is very, very difficult and competitive. And the landlord wants to know that you are employed in an organization. There is already a way of doing things here. So, I mean, the tech thing started not too long ago. The whole French tech thing started not too long ago. And so the French landlord wants to know that you have a valid contract with an organization that is paying you XYZ every month. In fact, if you have money in your bank account, it's not enough for them to just say, oh, okay, I'm going to give you my apartment to stay. That is where Station F comes in. So Station F is aware of this problem and has its own accommodation called flatmates. So they overlook all of those things as long as you can pay highly subsidized rent per month. In fact, the cheapest you can find in Paris is provided by Station F, and they do not look at all of those requirements that those crazy landlords are offering. So when I came to France, I had to stay with someone to start looking for an apartment. In fact, some Some agency even collected some money from me so that they can help me find an apartment. But when I realized that every time I go and check out an apartment, we are so many that is checking one apartment, I just knew that this wasn't going to work. So that was when I applied for Station F. Station F was going to give me what I wanted, and at the same time also give me the network and platform to work. And so I got into Station F. They provided me with accommodation. I have access to the entire tech ecosystem. There's even AWS here. We have support from if you are building on AWS infrastructure, they give you access to about $10,000 worth of infrastructure credit. So you don't have to worry about cost of building your solution. All you just need to do is focus on building. Then a lot of people ask me, why France? Why France? Why France? Even here in Station F, when they see me, oh, I'm the only Nigerian in the whole of Station Station F, they ask me a lot of questions like, so why France? Everywhere I go, why France? And most ask the question from the angle of taxes, high taxes. Some ask the question from the angle of language barrier because the founders that you often see that share your skin color are mostly from the Francophone countries. And yeah, so generally it's been great, and you are required to come to station every day. You have a desk here for you to work. By working, you meet other people and network, and then Station F itself runs. Sorry, I'm mixing the pronunciation. Station F. You have to forgive me. So they run their own programs here that like there's a founders meetup where founders meet to discuss their challenges. And I always look forward to that session as well. And other founders will contribute their own um other founders, the whole idea that other founders have also probably experienced that same thing that you're experiencing, and they can provide similar to the eMigr8 platform. So yeah, that's basically it. Maybe I should add that the French tech ecosystem it's friendly to entrepreneurs, like I've mentioned, despite the looking at the accommodation challenge, and then you have platforms like Station F that removes that bottleneck for international startup. And yeah, so part of why I came to France was that I have always known the French culture. I studied at Alliance Française for 2 years, Alliance Française in Jos, back in Jos for 2 years. So I've the culture has always been something that I've been interested in, the culture, the language, and then this will also serve as an opportunity for me to build for the global market because Europe will give me access to um, the global markets. At the moment, we're currently serving Nigeria for our fintech solution. We're not in a rush, but we're also open to serve the European market. For example, we have already secured partnership with Stripe. Stripe is one of the biggest fintech platform in the world. They are giving us their card issuing services so we can serve the European market without the bottleneck of licensing and all. So we have that easily compared to Nigeria. Nigeria, we're still struggling to um like we're currently leveraging on other people's license because the requirement for in Nigeria is crazy. That's not to say that the requirement in Europe is not crazy, but you have platforms like Stripe that would embody all of those challenges for you. When it comes to compliance, they handle it for you, and um, all you have to do is just integrate with them, and everything that has to do with compliance would have been would already have been sorted. We are doing the same thing in Nigeria, but we are still experiencing some form of trust because a lot of people are demanding that now this is me comparing the Nigeria and Europe as far as doing business for my startup is concerned. So a lot of Nigerians can be very demanding. They are demanding that you have your own license. Like leveraging on other people's license is seen as like, okay, like you're not the real deal. Like you're not the real deal. Those are challenging, even though you have a lot of customers that a lot of prospective customers that you're working with, but those challenges are there. But those challenges are not here at all. As long as you have partnership with the big guys, and it will shock you that Stripe, I mean, it will shock you. Stripe is an American company that happens to have the the banking license in Europe and is serving the European market as well. Yeah, so in comparison, it's been easier here than over there. I think I will take a stop now so we can look at the questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rednan. Really appreciate the sharing your journey. And as we said to you, if you have questions, and I'm hoping you have a lot of questions, I also know that there are questions from the different emigrate community coming in. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat, and or if you're watching the replay, drop them in the comment section or whatever platform you are watching this on. We will take as many of your questions as possible. We would like to hear your question. We believe this session, this group coaching session, this open day is most valuable if you share your questions. We will not be able to bring you on stage for you to switch on your camera and then ask your question live, but type it in the chat. We will take as many of your questions as possible as we go along on this open day. What we'll do now for just a few moments is just to share with you some of the information in public domain as regards the French Tech Visa. That will also help the journey in terms of, and maybe that would also stimulate some more questions from you, the members of this open day today, eMigr8 open day today. We are focused on the French Tech Visa during today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day. If you're an absolute beginner, you would already have noticed that this particular pathway would not be for you at an absolute beginner level. But as we said, you are welcome in this room because you can plan your journey over a period of time. If you already qualify, you already have a startup that is at the level and you already have some traction in that can fit into the different incubator and accelerators that are recognized by the French government, you may want to consider these as one of your pathway for global mobility. For this session, I will just talk briefly about eMigr8 AI and what we are building, and then we'll segue into looking at some of the requirements for the French Tech Visa. eMigr8 AI is an eMigr8 platform generally. It's your companion for global talent mobility, relocation, and settlement. We're able to support your journey, as we said earlier, for three key pillars that we are focused on building around. It's around relocation, settlement, and integration. We're building pillars around information, inspiration, and education, where we are aiming with sessions like this one to help you discover different pathways that you can take a look at, to help you aspire to be much more, to help you become globally attractive as a tech talent. We're also able to help around personalized road mapping. No two people's journey is the same. So regardless of if you're a beginner today, you are an absolute newbie, meaning you've not even started your journey today, you're a beginner, you are intermediate, or you are advanced, we are able to support you. We want to plot a chart between where you are right now to destination globally attractive. There are different visa pathways that will be available to you that will unlock for you at different stages of that journey. And you have this companion with the eMigr8 platform to help that entire journey. You don't have to do this journey alone. We will be able to support you, even on the DIY, do-it-yourself approach, which is mostly free on the platform at the moment. And if you need a little bit of support, you can look at the different premium offering from an annual subscription on the platform to paying for one package or the other. Finally, we're looking at it a platform around integration and support, which is that when you move to your target economy, there are many things you need to know. It's a new economy at the end of the day. It's a new jurisdiction at the end of the day. Redna was talking about being able to rent an apartment and how he was able to go about it. Some of those information is helpful at different stages. And this is part of what we are working on the eMigr8 platform. We're AI driven. And what we're doing is that the AI is able to extend the reach of our human coaches on the platform. We have coaches for different parts of different countries and different visa pathway. UK self-sponsorship route, the US O1 route, the US EB2 NIW route, the French tech visa route. Whatever route it is that you're looking for, you will likely be able to find support on the eMigr8 platform. And that's what we are building. One of these open days, we are looking forward to a session where the eMigr8 AI will be able to actually speak to you on these open day. We are not quite there yet. We are pushing the team to get there very quickly, but you can chat with the AI today on WhatsApp, and very soon you'll be able to chat with the AI as well that is fine-tuned towards helping your journey. You'll be able to do that directly on the eMigr8 app platform. And so we invite you to join in this journey and for eMigr8 to be able to help you on your journey towards relocation and settlement. Today, we are talking about the French tech visa, and there's a lot of information available out there on the French tech visa that you can start from in terms of understanding what you need to do. In terms of how long the visa is available for, it's a 4-year renewable residence permit. What that means is that, and if you have continuous residency in France for 5 years, you can apply to become a French citizen. And so 4-year renewable residence permit, meaning that after 4 years, you can renew it once. And if you continually are resident in France, you can become a French citizen as part of this journey of the French tech visa. You can move with your family, regardless of if you are moving as a founder or you are moving as an investor. You can move with your family and your dependent, with your spouse and your dependent using the French tech visa. It's been around for a while. And in terms of the validity, it's 4 years. It includes your family and it helps you, and it's renewable as well. Redman will be telling us a bit more as part of the questions around, do I need to speak French for me to be able to move on the French tech visa? But just showing you some information about the French tech visa. If you're a startup founder, what you would need to do to be able to land the French tech visa, the main hurdle is that you need to land an endorsement, let me call it that, from one of the incubators that are recognized by the French government. For it has to be an innovative business that you want to develop in France. Your target market may not only be Europe, it may not only be France. You could be building it for Asia, you could be building it for target market elsewhere, but you are building from France. And so it gives you an opportunity. You will need to have a statutory, the minimum wage available to you as part of the visa requirements on the next stage when you apply directly to the government. And then for you to continue to renew, you need to be able to maintain continuous residency. In terms of some of the incubators and accelerators that you can apply to and you may want to take a look at, this is not the latest list, but this is a list that gives you an idea of some of the accelerators and incubators that you can take a look at, speak with, see if they value your innovation, see if they value your startup for you to land the French tech visa. And once you get into their program and they issue you that letter that says that this is an innovative solution that we would like to see built in France, that basically qualifies you. You have a 99%, almost 100% chance of landing the actual visa. it's only if you don't meet like the minimum deposit requirements and some of those that, or you've committed an immigration crime in the past. Those are some of the reasons why you may not get the visa. But aside from that, once you get your startup gets into any of these, you and your co-founders. So this is not just you as one of the entrepreneurs. You and the co-founders will be able to land the French tech visa. But then the French tech visa also is available for employees. And it's similar, except that you want to be able to get employed by a French company that is authorized as an innovative company in France. And so you may want to take a look at that to say, oh, I'm not interested in building a startup. Oh, yeah, that's fine. You can actually get the French tech visa as well. Same 4 years if you are an employee of or of a company that is recognized as an innovative company. And there are some information here that will give you some idea of what that means and the kinds of companies you should be targeting. On the platform, we actually have a list of some of those companies that you can be targeting. You can be socializing your profile to, and there are different ways in which you can actually attract a role along the lines of these companies. And finally, on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform, we actually also help investors, high net worth individuals, to be able to settle in different countries of the world. And so you could also look at the French tech visa for investors. A key one is you should be willing and able to invest over 300,000, at least 300,000 euros in fixed and intangible assets. And IP, intellectual property, is actually part of what you can value. And you can use all of that to invest, and that would give you access. But you would have to be buying at least 30% shareholding. Yeah, I think it's 30% shareholding in the company that you are investing in. And so what we're saying is that the eMigr8 platform is available to you to support your journey. If you're looking at the French tech visa or you're looking at any other tech visa from different parts of the world, the platform is able to help you. As I said earlier, the platform has options of do it yourself, do it with me, or do it for me approach to helping you on your journey to landing the French tech visa, to landing any of these talent visas. And so with that said, we will come into the question and answer section for today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day. And Rednan, thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing your journey. I wanted to ask to start with to say, in terms of getting into School Labs, which is the accelerator, incubator that you joined, could you share a bit more information around what did they ask for? What did you have to present? Was it really difficult to get into the incubator in the first place? And just share a little bit more around that particular journey of that incubator, and just giving an idea of what other incubators and accelerators in France are looking out for the companies, for these startup entrepreneurs.
Okay. Thanks for that's a good question. For Schoolab, it's Schoolab doesn't really care much about your idea, right? But they want to be able to see that you're a builder, right? Because when you join the program, I'm saying this because when you join the program, you then realize that when you join the program and go through the series of trainings, workshops, there are models that have been built for validating startups. Especially they look at more into your revenue streams. How are you going to make money, right? Look at in addition to the innovative side, right? So there is when you are going to realize that even though what you had in mind wasn't what you had in mind isn't it's not that what you had in mind wasn't good, but you realize that there is more to it, and you find yourself pivoting within the sessions. So it's more about having that founder mindset, being able to being open to, pivoting when you have to, if for instance your growth rate is not sustainable, it's not at a point where you can make your business to survive the next 2 years, for instance, you have to look for for lack of better words, maybe a different vertical, or to pivot the startup a little bit and all. But the major thing that works for me is the intro, being able to be introduced to School Lab to say, oh, okay, I can vouch for this guy. Yeah, that works. But for the most cases, there's just an open application where you can just upload your pitch deck and then hope that, I mean, you can really pitch your way into it, as far as your pitch is really quite great. I'm saying this because I've had to pivot after going through that session. Yes.
Through the program. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And just to say to the community, to say the spray and pray approach works, but it's not as effective as if you actually get introductions to some of these ecosystems. And this is part of what you can get on the eMigr8 community, in terms of some of those introductions, not to all of these accelerators and incubators, but to some of them. That introduction is actually very valuable. But you could also use the spray and pray approach to say, oh, this is the list of everyone, put together a fantastic pitch deck, put together a fantastic brief, make sure you show how innovative what you're trying to do is, right? Show what exists already and show what you are doing differently. If you're looking at a specific niche, that's fine. If you're looking at something absolutely new, that's fine. The key thing is that nobody knows which innovation will work best at the very start. Uber, for example, if someone told you that, oh, when Uber was starting, I'm going to have an app, and then when I click a button, a cab will come meet me and pick me up. People didn't believe initially, but now it has taken over the world. There are many replicas and so on, and that's the way some of us and some people actually travel at this point. Facebook was not the first social media. We had many others, but Facebook came with something innovative that changed the game. And now many of the others, I don't know if they exist anymore. When last did you log into your i5, for example? I don't know if they do. So that's something we'll just mention to say innovation, try and make sure that you show the innovative nature of this. If you can get introduction into some of these ecosystems, it may work better. But even if not, you can also look at the spray and pray approach if necessary. Also, becoming a startup founder, and I'll just pivot to the next question, which is for eMigr8, before I come back to you right now. Also, becoming a startup founder, the best way to learn how to build a startup is to build a startup yourself. And I talked about one of the programs within the ecosystem that helps you to do that, which is the Labs by Bincom. That is a pre-incubator program. And so it helps you become in a shape where some of these incubators would be interested in investing in you. That investment sometimes is just time, allowing you into their program, allowing you to get into those programs. But if you don't have some of those background, it may not be as easy as if you already are able to show that you're a genuine founder looking to build a business, not that you just want to escape from your home economy. There are people from different parts of the world on the call, Nigeria, Ghana. I see somebody from Macedonia and so on. And so it's important to say the principle is the same, regardless of where it is. They want you if you are going to be adding value. They don't want you if you are just desperate to leave, right? In my local parlance, I heard is now an official word in English. It's called Japa. I'm a Nigerian myself. It's called Japa. That's not what we are asking you to do on this platform. We're saying become globally attractive. And then when you become globally attractive, you have multiple options. There's a question here that said, how much is it for the do it for me approach? It depends on what you need. Are you already a startup founder? Do you need to first build some skill? Do you need to build experience? And there are several things. So what we usually advise is book a one-to-one coaching session where we can understand your journey, understand where you are, understand what you need, And then based on that, they will be able to share with you what we believe is the best package for you. If what you're looking for is just the general pricing and so on for eMigr8, it's available as a link on the app. It's also available in public domain as a link. But what we usually advise is find out what you need first, and then based on that, there could be a package for you. And as I said earlier, 80% of what we do on this platform is actually free. So to a large extent, if you say how much, it could be zero. It may be free to you ultimately. So we don't know is the answer to that. Redman, coming back to you. There's a question here that says, okay, that's an eMigr8 question. We'll answer that. This is an eMigr8 question. Okay, right now, I don't know if you could just add to this question. It says that apart from being a founder with a startup, does the pathway support tech talent who is interested only in job opportunities? I mentioned the French tech visa for employees. This is not immigration advice. This is not legal advice. This is just us sharing from our experience. And so right now, I don't know if you have a bit of experience or any information you can share to the community as regards the employee aspect of this visa and maybe also the investor aspect of the visa.
Okay, so I'll speak on the passport talent visa, which is mine, right? And mine is slash entrepreneur. So passport talent / entrepreneur. Then the one that is being referred to in the question is passport talent. No entrepreneur in front of it. It means that you can work in an organization. Unfortunately, there is a requirement. Most French companies don't, as far as I know, most French companies don't want to go through, it's stressful to communicate to non-French speakers. So nobody wants to go through the trouble of immigration on your behalf to be able to get you into the country. But passport talent is open for that purpose. But aside passport talent, there is the more general one is the requirement that outside the passport talent, the more general one is the language requirement, which is that you have to have a minimum of B2, which is a classification. That's a language level that you have to have. There is A1, A2, B2, B1, then B2. So you can imagine that B2 should get you to a point where you are comfortable to hold conversation, which is when you are going outside the passport talent, as far as I know. However, myself, I can bring in I can employ my Nigerian team to come over to France with or without the language specification, because they are coming to work with me in France. So what extends to them is the same passport talent with no language requirement. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I believe it does. And I was just going to, it was one of the questions sent from the community anyway, is do I need to be able to speak French for me to get the passport talent for entrepreneurs, which is French tech visa for
No.
entrepreneurs?
No,
Okay.
so it's challenging for me because my level is around A1, A2 in terms of my spoken French, but I was able to I was one of the slowest to understand what was going on in the school lab incubation, because I will have to transcribe, record all of they have like pre-recorded sessions. They record all sessions. I'll go download and transcribe it back to English to know what everybody knows, but it always happen late and all. But the whole experience is good because it helps me to, it trains my ear to understand different language, which is something I've always wanted to, anyways. But you can do that. But it's always better to go for, if there are incubators that speak French, that speak English, it's always better to target those. I mean, apply for endorsements from those than, but generally French people just like to speak in French.
Hmm. Yeah, so I think the summary of what I'm picking up is it's useful if you can speak French, but it's not a requirement for the particular visa we're talking about today. Would that be correct summary?
Yes, perfect.
Mhm. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And so let's talk about the stage two. You got into school labs, and I know that and I know we played a very small part in your journey as well, emigrate. But I know after school labs, then there was the question of applying in your local embassy. I don't know if you could speak a little bit about that. So you got the letter of endorsement from school labs. What was that process like in terms of applying in the local embassy? Were there interviews? How was the interview? How was the process? And how did you feel when you got your visa eventually?
Okay, I like what you said earlier, where you said that this is not a legal advice and all of that, because immigration things changes. So even when I came, a lot of people didn't even know when I was asking for guidance. A lot of people thought it was in a certain way, but apparently something has changed. A process changed somewhere, because what I read was what I'd been told was that on arrival to France, you have to validate your visa. Immediately when you come, you validate the visa. So the act of validating the visa, it's supposed to grant you like the equivalence of the residency permit, because residence permit is going to take a while for it to be processed. So when you validate, okay, you're in the country, it automatically translates, but that's not the case. So I did not know, although I delayed the process because there was the issue of settling down and the accommodation issue. I moved from Airbnb to finally find another founder. In fact, a Cameroon-based founder who is also running a startup in Paris, and he was able to put up with me for like 2 months, where I was able to, calm my head down first, make I see rude, make I feel see rude before the station F happened. So when I finally applied, it's actually easy to do. You just go to the website and apply. But I didn't go through that route. I simply gave it to someone who understands who has done immigration. I'll source it, so to speak. And it was pretty easy because it removes the whole language translation barrier that um, I would have I would have carried out. So um, funny enough, I have not gotten my residency permit. Having spent 8 months. I'm going to explain shortly. The whole process is supposed to take 3 months, right? And there's something about the French administration, bureaucracies, and
Just to remind you
it's
that
very
this is being
popular.
recorded right now. So
French people are known for bureaucracies. In fact, it's like they even invented the word government. So um, I was given an appointment to come, and the whole process was completely online from they issuing me, because I applied late. I applied late, so my visa was going to expire the next day here in France, because I had I was given Schengen visa, a temporary visa of 3 months, because they don't just give you that 4 years that you see online immediately. They give you a temporary one, 3 years. That's what they gave me, 3 months, which is what they gave me. So um, it was going to expire the next day. That's when I applied, and I became a little bit like illegal in France. Uh, that means I couldn't travel to anywhere. But however, I've been spending my naira, sha, no issue. So they now issued me a temporary visa again that would last for 2 months to allow them process, to give them time to process, because it's by the books, right? You have to be legal, then they will now actually issue you the visa. So they gave me another temporary visa for another 3 months. Then in less than 2 months, I got an invitation to say that my residency permit is being printed. So I missed the appointment.
I know.
I missed the appointment. My phone was having issue at the time they sent me an SMS to say that my appointment is scheduled for this time at so they call it prefecture, like the local embassy that you mentioned, and I missed it. So I now requested for another um
Payment.
appointment, which is going to happen in 2 months' time.
Wow, so that's an interesting journey
Yeah, but
to
it's not supposed to be this long if it wasn't my own fault. Yeah.
your own work. But does that affect your number of years in terms of continuous residency in France or
No,
anything
it
like that?
doesn't. It
Really? Yeah.
doesn't.
Okay. Okay. That's good information to know. Just to mention to our audience, we're coming towards the end of today's edition of Emigrate Open Day. If you have questions about the French Tech Visa, if you have questions about the Emigrate platform at all, if you have questions in terms of this edition and this particular visa pathway, please drop in the chat or you can drop in the comment section if you're watching the replay video on the platform where you're watching this. Somebody is asking about the recording of this program. It's available on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. So just download the app. This recording will be available directly on the app within the next 24 hours or thereabout. And so on the app, you get access to the recording. It's part of the free offering on the platform. So you don't have to subscribe to any premium offering. As at now, that may change in the future, but as at this moment of time, it's available at no cost to you. I see a couple of questions around eMigr8 platform, so I will take that. Okay, let me go with this one. What tech roles can benefit from the French tech visa? So Rednan, I don't know if you want to just give a bit of what's the name. So I'll just start by saying that we are focused on the one for entrepreneurs, which means that you're a startup founder, which means that you're running your own company. So that's what we are focused on in today's edition. But then right now, I don't know if you want to spend a bit of time just to talk about what roles could apply for the French tech visa.
Okay, so what the French government wants to know at the point of issuing endorsement is that your team does not have a conflicting role. For instance, if it's a tech startup, right, you're expected to have like a CEO, that's somebody that manages um the business component of the startup, but
Mhm.
you should have the CV to back it up or the experience to back up that, yes, you could handle the business part. If you are the technical person, like the CTO, for instance, you have the CV to back up the fact that you are the you could be the CTO. And it's not limited to all of that. You could be like CMO, you can have chief marketing officer, because when a product is released, that product needs to be marketed, right? So anyways, you just need to have the CV to back up the fact that you're a CMO, the fact that you're a CTO, but it's largely for the co-founders of the tech startup. Aside being aside being the co-founder, aside having a co-founder status, it simply means that you as a startup is employing anybody from anywhere in the world,
Hmm,
and then extending the passports, the talent passports to them.
interesting. Let's talk a little bit about the company and the innovation. And I think I'll start that to say, what does innovation mean to you? I shared a bit around what it means to me. What does it mean to you? But more importantly, what if my idea has competition? Does that impact my eligibility for the French tech visa?
Okay, no, it doesn't. What they want to see is that you change something, because there's really no new ideas. So we are just what we are doing is adding a little something that millions
Not
of people
inventing the revolution instead.
might find, oh, okay, do a switch and all of that. And that's how disruptions have happened globally. Everybody's just adding a little extra on top of it, a little extra. If you're building, say, batteries, for instance, okay, batteries exist. So what are you adding on top of it to extend the life, maybe the time it takes for it to drain? So that little bit of something is what innovation is. That little extra.
Mm, wow. And does the startup have to have, do we have to have traction before you apply? what kind of traction should a startup have, or can it just be an idea to apply to one of the incubators?
Yes, it can be. So it depends on the incubator. If the incubator is neutral as far as the idea is, like for School Lab, they don't bring your idea that you say it's innovative, whether you have built it or not, right? But eventually they will fine tune it for you. That's the essence of being in an incubation. They can fine tune it, and in fact, what they actually call it is building your project in France. So you're invariably building it. There's a lot of startups here, and most of them are still building. They are still building. Some have not gone live. Some still have like um beta testers where you're able to have like maybe 10 users who are currently using their platform, and they are keeping it that way while they are building with those 10 users until they get to a point where they want to scale, or maybe they are looking to raise money. And I forgot to mention that as part of in comparison to Nigeria, there is a s- there's a fund that's actually available to entrepreneurs here in France, and is easily accessible, but it's a counterpart fund, which means that if you have, say, 15,000, the one that I'm aware of is you have 15,000 euros, the French government will be able to give you an additional 30,000 on top of it. That's, you bring your own part, then they bring your own part to completely grant, completely free.
Mm.
Yeah, so money can, it's grant is easily available here, especially, and you access more if you are building the areas of, say, deep tech. Those are highly researched, that involves a lot of research and development, like hardware, where it involves a lot of time to do research, especially in new areas where you have to build something from scratch, carry Sodrianion, move things, and build stuff. The higher you can access. So you can bring 30,000, you get 30,000. Those kind of funds are available, easily available, and you will be supported by those incubators to
Yeah.
access them.
Mhm. And I think you even started the next question I have here from the community, which is that how has being in France benefited your company? Uh, so compared to building in your own country, and you had started talking about it in your initial conversation as well. Could you tell a little bit more around that, particularly for startup founders that are wondering, oh, my company is doing well in my own country, I'm building well in Kenya, I'm building well in Ghana, I'm building well in my own country. Why should I consider this option? Is there anything you could say in terms of how has been in France benefited your company specifically?
Okay, so France has not benefited in my company yet. We are still building.
Mhm.
Eh, However, how they can benefit, how France can benefit from here is because Europe is part of our expansion strategy. Even though our immediate target market is Nigeria, that is the market we know. It will take
Yeah.
us some time to understand this terrain, know where to go to. But what we know is that we have access to the whole European countries as a market.
Mhm.
And it's in comparison to Nigeria, there's no such thing as you build in Nigeria and the whole of West Africa uses the same product.
Mm.
There's a lot of regulations around you having to incorporate in Ghana, you having to probably incorporate with in Kenya. Every country is now having its own startup act that
Yeah.
limits the ability to just be in Nigeria and then build for Africa. We are still very much limited in that place. But in Europe, you build in France, and you have the German market, you have Portugal, you have Denmark, you have Spain, all at once. At once.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I go into yeah, before I go into a few more questions around living in France, one of the questions was around comparing the various countries you had options for, and as regards those countries and France. But before I go into that, I wanted to just handle some of the questions that are eMigr8 specific. A question here is saying, I'll read the question, then I'll answer. I would like to ask, do you help just for migration visas or also recruiting employees? And so the answer is on the eMigr8 platform, we help with different pathways to relocation, settlement, and integration. And part of those pathways that we help with are some where you will need to land a job that will sponsor your visa. And so we have tech career coaching that helps with that process. And you would find resources on the eMigr8 platform that can help you. On the free side, you have resources like a session that we've done, which is landing a role in the tech ecosystem. And it takes you through the journey that you would need to go through if you're trying to land a role in most jurisdictions, but particularly for the UK, because we have premium coaching available for the UK at the moment. And we are launching premium coaching for Canada and also Germany on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. We are not yet launching for France, but it will come in the future as well. On the free side, on the do-it-yourself side, we have those resources available that takes you through the journey of you being open to new opportunities, to the point when you start talking to technical recruiters, to the point when you start at the interviewing with hiring managers, to the point where you land the role that will come with work visa sponsorship, particularly UK, and then we're launching with Canada and Germany as well. So we help with that on the eMigr8 platform. If you're in the UK already and what you're looking for is you do have work visa, and what you're looking for is just landing a role, we are able to help with that on the platform as well, because we have the tech career coaching service that can help you in that particular aspect of your journey. We're an holistic platform that helps with everything around relocation, settlement, and integration. So that bit comes into the integration bit of what we do on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. And we are still building as well. We are not quite there yet. We're still building. We've helped thousands of people. We have hundreds of successes, verifiably, and as well. But what we are trying to do now is to scale the platform to be able to help tens and hundreds of thousands of people at the same time. That's part of why we built the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. That's part of the reason why we're building the AI. That's part of the reason why we're doing everything that we're doing. And so we have premium options and we have free options, do it yourself approach. We have the do it with me approach, and we have the do it for me approach to helping you on the platform. Let's talk about living in France, Rednand, as we come to the last part of this session. And as we mentioned, we said that if you waited till the end, we have a gift for you. I'll be talking about the gift in a moment. Living in France, and so I was asking around why France, and in this, it was just, I don't know if you could speak about maybe other countries you looked at. Don't forget this is being recorded, just to say, but why did you choose France of all the options available to you? Knowing you very well, I know that you had multiple options of different countries. You're an example of if you are globally attractive, you have options from all over the world. So I don't know if you could speak to why France from the perspective of comparing other countries, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I've always shared the French culture. Like to begin with, in 2012, that was when I got enrolled in Alliance Française in Jos. I spent 2 years, like I gave 2 years of my life to studying the French language. And interestingly, I did it so well that I was like I was part of the student club, with part of those people who were organizing events, cultural events, where we brought in other francophone countries, other francophone francophones living in Jos at the time, to exchange their cultural values with Nigerians living in Jos at the time. So, but France wasn't where I started from. I wanted to try out UK, and but that didn't work out. But um, funny enough, while living in Nigeria, while building for Nigeria, I've always admired to build a product. I've always wanted to build a product that could be used globally. My company, my startup at the time was one of those earliest the earliest startup to incorporate in the US. And that was in 2017. We incorporated in Delaware through the Stripe program, where because collecting money from foreigners is was really, really a pain at the time. And that leaves you with the option to incorporate in the US. And many founders are able to do that, to be able to, advance their products to the next level. But like we couldn't get the product to do what we wanted to do, what we wanted it to do at that time. So um, I'm trying to compare now the US, UK. I've always known that, okay, US is feasible where I don't really need to be present to be able to leverage on the fact that you have a C Corp, a company registered in the US, and then use it to do business at that time, right? Because I already have a company in the US. So adventure was part of it. And then, of course, to have a deeper integration in the French culture, that's most influential.
Wow. Thank you for that, and hopefully for some of the people within the community, that may have been useful for you. So France, work-life balance, aside from work, how's living in France? Is there work-life balance? Is there, okay, let's not talk about racism, but what does it look like living in France? Has it been easy for you adapting and integrating? Particularly, you didn't come from a French-speaking, a Francophone country. You came from an Anglophone country. Or how's living in France, work-life balance been like?
Yeah, it's pretty. They take it very, very serious. Like they take the whole work-life balance very serious. Like you could, I don't know if it's in the UK as well, but it's a shop open multiple times a day where you could go and get a coffee and they say they are closed by say 12 o'clock or by 11 o'clock, and then they'll tell you we reopen again by 2 o'clock. So within that time, I guess a lot of things, a lot of chilling is happening. And again, um, work-life balance also, you could actually see it at coffee shops at exactly lunchtime. When it's lunchtime, you see everywhere filled up. This is a shop that you just go past and everywhere was empty. And then on returning, then the whole place is filled up. And people will stay, take coffee, have their lunch, and have time. But it has not really applied to me because I'm coming from Africa. So for me, it's just work, 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 work for me because I'm coming to build my project here and I'm super focused on that. Just few
Hmm.
times where I would have some guests from Jos who happen to be in Paris, and then I will just give them a tour. It's been a fun experience for me, those moments, those moments, because I just get to leave my computer and then show them around Paris, take them to Eiffel Tower, Champs-Élysées, uh, Arc de Triomphe. Then it's been kind of refreshing. And so if more of those people come in, that's when I get to really have fun. Other than that, it's work, building and building.
Wow, interesting. And
But they enjoy it. There is work-life balance. Yeah.
okay, I don't know if you could talk about good parts of France, bad parts of France. You're being recorded, so any bad part of France that you should be aware of to say, oh, okay, consider this before deciding France.
I haven't experienced I've not experienced any sad part of the bad side, right? And I don't think I have stories of that. It's been really, really beautiful. Everybody's willing to, help. Everybody's willing to assist. People are
Yeah.
always willing to assist. That's my own experience.
Well, that's really good to hear. And we're approaching the end of today's session of eMigr8 Open Day. If there are last minute questions, now is the time to drop them. we mentioned that if you waited till the end, and right now we'll be asking you to speak to 5 category of our audience in a moment. And so stay with us for a moment. But we mentioned to you our community to say that if you waited till the end of this session, or if you watch this replay video to the end, you would get a prize. And this is your prize. This is your gift. It's that you get an extra free short coaching session from the eMigr8 platform. But you need to take an action to redeem this coaching session. What you need to do is you need to go to any one of the eMigr8 communities, and you need to put a message within that community to say you attended this session of eMigr8 Open Day. You can quote the theme of today's edition, which is around the French Tech Visa, and that you were told that you've won a free short coaching session. You don't have to use the coaching session on the same day, but you need to take that action. The reason is because the community managers will be taking a look at your profile. They will be able to log it. We do it manually at the moment, but we're going to actually automate that as part of what we are building on this platform. The community managers will be able to log on your profile to say you get an extra free short coaching session on the eMigr8 platform. And so you may want to do that. You have to do that on the eMigr8 community. And so you need to do that at your on eMigr8 community. And you would need to do that as soon as you can. If you're watching the replay video, as soon as you finished watching this video, you can also do that. You can get access to the eMigr8 community by simply downloading the eMigr8 Visa app. Under sessions, it's a part of you can click on the link to any one of the eMigr8 community, and that's where you want to start that conversation from to be able to redeem this. It's only one of these per profile. So even if you've attended multiple eMigr8 communities over the years, you still only get one of this category of the free coaching session. We've had challenges of people coming to say, oh, I've attended every eMigr8 Open Day, so therefore don't I get unlimited sessions and all? Unfortunately not. We're still a business at the end of the day, and there are ways in which you can get access to premium coaching on the platform. Today, we were talking about the French Tech Visa, but as we said on the eMigr8 community, and I'll share my screen in a moment, as we said on the eMigr8 community, if you have questions, you need to drop your question in the chat. We will not have the time to look at, we will not have the time for questions, bringing you on stage for you to ask your question. If you do have questions, please drop them in the chat. We're coming to the end of the session, and so please drop the questions in the chat. And as I said earlier, if you're watching the replay video, you can also still ask your question. We'll get the answer to you as quickly as possible in the comments of what you're watching. I'm going to share my screen. Before I share my screen, there's a question here. Wow, it's a long question, but I'm just going to summarize the question. Students in UK manage to save us money. Understanding this criteria is crucial in determining business. When comparing the UK and France in immigration, okay, sorry. This question is a bit long, so I'm not able to summarize it right now. When comparing the UK, key differences in each country has distinct. Okay, I don't think it's a question, actually. So I think we'll just move on, and let me just make sure there are no more questions in the chat. Apologies, just give me one moment. Okay, that's an eMigr8 specific question as well. So I'm just gonna, apologies, okay. Yeah, so those are eMigr8 specific questions. We'll come to those questions in a moment. But just to say again, welcome to eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. If you've been with us or you are joining just now, what we've been doing is we've been sharing a lot of details about the French Tech Visa. And this is just one out of many options that are available for you on the eMigr8 platform in terms of different pathways to relocation and settlement. We have quite a number of other offerings on the platform. We have offerings for countries like the UK, US, Canada, France, Australia, Germany, And we're working really hard to bring more countries onto the platform. For now, we're focused on tech visa pathways, but even as an absolute beginner or a newbie, you've not even started your journey in tech, there are pathways that you could use for relocation and settlement and integration that could be helpful for you on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. We talked about different package offering. We spent some time talking about the Settle in the UK as a tech talent premium offering on the platform. And that's one of the do it for me approach to your relocation and settlement journey. We explained that we have a do-it-yourself approach, we have a do-it-for-me approach, we have a do-it-with-me approach in the middle of those two that you could use for your journey. Whichever one it is, we want to support you. Many of the coaches on the eMigr8 platform, the reason why they are coaching on the platform is because they want to give back, they want to help. The reason why Rednan has come on this session today is also to help your journey, give you information, give you direction, point you in the right direction, help you to achieve your objective of becoming globally attractive. And so what we're saying is that this is available to you on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. We've also mentioned to say, particularly for this session that we're talking about today, that if you are not yet a startup founder at all, don't worry, you can start somewhere. And the best way of becoming a startup founder is actually building a startup yourself. We have a pre-incubator that you may want to take a look at. It's Labs by Bincom. And Labs by Bincom can help you become a startup founder and can help you ideate and come up with an idea, and even that will get to a stage where it would be attractive for some of these incubators that we've been talking about today that could endorse your offering. We also have a couple of premium coaching sessions. If you're interested in something like the UK self-sponsorship route, we have a premium coaching session on the app that could be useful for you. The self-sponsorship route in the UK, that is, self-sponsorship is not a visa category by itself. It is a route because what it is you create a company that will achieve the certificate of sponsorship in the UK, and then that company will sponsor your own visa in the UK. Perfectly legal, perfect. You will own your company. You would be one of the main shareholder, majority shareholder in your own company. In fact, if you stop being the majority shareholder in your company, that would be a problem in the long run. So be careful if you're doing that by yourself. There are specific ways in which you need to ensure you do that and do that legally in the UK. But we're saying that why put your faith in a different employer? Instead, why not put your faith in your own self as your own employer if you're in that situation for the UK? If you're working on the UK Global Talent Visa, we have a premium coaching available for you as well. We do one-to-one coaching, and we do have premium coaching sessions as well, where it's a group of people, all of you working on that, and then we have a coach that is able to help your journey and answer questions, show you what you need to do, help with your documentation, in terms of reviewing your documentation, in terms of helping you on what it is that you need to do part-time on that particular route. And so you can find all of these on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. And today's session, we were focused on French Tech Visa, but just to mention that we do have other pathways available that you can take a look at in the platform. Our next open day will focus on the UK Global Talent Visa and talent visa from multiple parts of the world. So we'll touch on the Australia Global Talent Visa, which is now called the National Innovation Visa, a National Innovation Visa, NIV, and then we'll be talking about global talent from all over the world. And so, Rednan, so let me just make sure there are no more questions for you in the chat. You need a startup in the UK. How much do I need to start up? Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of eMigr8 questions, and we'll come to the eMigr8 questions in a moment. But Rednan, we wanted you to speak to 5 categories of people on the call today. The first are people who are absolute beginners in the field. What would you advise them to do? Second are intermediates. What would you advise them to do? third are advanced people in the field of technology. What would you advise them to do? Just to say again that this is not immigration advice. This is not legal advice. This is Rednan sharing from his own experience of what you should be looking at those levels. Rednan, there are 5 categories. I wanted you to start with those 3, and then I will talk about the other 2.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity again. For absolute beginners, I would suggest to work, do a lot of work. You have to be able to solve a lot of problems, and in solving a lot of problems mean working with companies that have a lot of problems to be solved, so you can gain the relevant experience as quickly as possible, because generally all problems are related. And in my experience, I have found that the next problem, the solution to the next problem is often solved from muscle memory, because I have solved a related problem in the past. So be it an accounting problem, I probably, if it's an accounting problem, no problem, because I I I understand the principle of conservation of energy, for instance. I understand my background is civil engineering, so I understand um, compressive and tensile forces. So it makes solving an accounting problem really, really easy. That's because I have dealt with a lot of problems in the past. And how can you quickly gain those kind of experiences, since a lot of the companies are not may not hire you because of your skill, is to demand to work for free. And yeah, so you have to do a lot of free work to be able to gain the experience you need for your next stage. For intermediate for intermediate skills, um, I would advise to to also, it's pretty much the same with the beginners. I would encourage, but to solve relatively harder problems and work directly under the experts to gain the experience that they have, like more like leapfrogging um, the stage of getting between intermediate and being an expert, is to work with closely with an expert, in the way that in the way that you know asking a lot of questions doesn't hurt. These experts already have the experience. They've solved all of the problems that you are coming to encounter. So just by talking to them helps about the problem that you have, helps you to understand how they think, so that it can really help. Then if it absolute beginners in technology, like coding and all of that, I would my own part is solving a lot of problems in coding platforms like and Codeforce is a platform for coders where they're able to solve mathematical problems with programming. That helped me a lot in problem solving skills. And the way I solve problems is completely different from how somebody without mathematical skills would solve that problem. But anyway, solution is always a solution. For the expert guys out there, what I can say is it's really easy to relax thinking that you are already an expert, but the truth is that the world is changing faster than ever before. I mean, with
AI.
introduction with generative AI,
Mhm.
and generative AI is going to unlock so much more. AI is going to unlock so much more that it will render a lot of that what we know, like useless. So we need to be able to catch up. Like, quantum computers are coming, and this means that um, quantum computer is coming. That means that, like, recently somebody shared something around password protection and all of that, and I said that, see, quantum computers are here. All of your passwords, your credit card, things, your credit card security will become, useless because of this technology, and they are going to become cheaper and cheaper and cheaper as time goes on. So the summary of it is that it's easy to relax, to think that, oh, you have figured it out, but the time is just going to, come and pass.
Hmm. Oh. And the two other categories would be people who they are not in their own country, but they are in a different country but not on a pathway to settlement. We have a significant community of those in the UK at the moment on the platform. Is there any advice you could give to them? But I mean, in different countries, maybe even France as well. And finally, those that are looking to apply for the French tech visa, do you have any advice or any last words that you would like to share with those two categories?
Okay, before I come to that, I think I missed something I wanted to say for the expat.
Please go
Um,
ahead.
it's also pretty easy to get caught up in an organization that is not growing. That also applies to the people in the intermediate skill. So I believe that that grow grow wherever you are working to match up with the company. If the company that you're working in is not growing equally, then you should know that it's time for you to leave, because you won't grow. It means that you have matched up with the level of that company. So that's where you know when it's time to leave. But if the company continues to evolve, then it means that you could stay or leave if you want. But the bottom line is to use that as a metric to know when to leave a place. That also applies to a city and everything else. Charles Darwin said is the species that survive are the ones that are adaptable to change. So if you get to that level, you know you have to change. If the people you are working with are not evolving as well, that's also the time to leave. For those who are considering coming to France from other places, the French people are good people, and um, the food here is amazing. I mean, there are varieties of food, and almost like everybody's a chef in this town. The food are great, and yeah. So, if you're coming from the UK, UK, France, I really don't see so much difference. We've had companies like Revolut, which originates from the UK and is doing well in Europe, right? I mean, it's like brothers and sisters, right? So for US in terms of technology, I don't really see much of a reason to leave the US for Europe, because the risk appetite in US is much more. It's much in terms of investment. Is so much than anywhere around the world. It's
Hmm.
the it's in terms of venture funding, the risk appetite is high. In Europe, in terms of investment, it's almost like European investors want to invest in Europe. They are more likely to invest in Europe than if you tailor your solution to an African market, the lesser the propensity to invest until you are actually investing in Europe. So, and then Europe is also heavily regulated. They follow you bumper to bumper a lot here. If you're not that kind of a person, you should also consider. But if you're in the US, there's no need to relocate to the EU, except you are looking to leave LD. Yeah, Europe is a healthy place to live. We work a lot here than than I want to buy car. So you have, in terms of the populace, you hardly see fat people. When you walk on the streets, there's hardly fat people because everybody is working out. And unlike the US, I mean, it's something that is really, really popular, where Europe versus US, there are more fat people in US than in Europe. That's because people in Europe are much more healthy. Maybe the food, some say is too much cheese that they have here. I don't know what it is, but me, I would like to say that we work a lot here. Work, WALK, yeah. So if you're in Nigeria or Africa, I think Africa, Europe is friendlier in terms of visa compared to US.
Okay. And advice for people trying to apply for French Tech visa. They already have the qualifying startup. They are looking at France. And any advice for people actively in that journey of land, particularly the one for entrepreneurs?
I think of France, France is very, very easy. I was able to navigate it. I mean, I had help, right? I mean, including your help. I had help along the way, but most of the things I did by myself. When I did the UK Tech visa, is like all of the documents you have to put together is so much. I needed to put in news clippings. Most of my activity between 2016 and 2018, it's like they just disappeared out of the internet. If I had known, right, I would have probably part of the requirements saying news clippings and all of that. I started looking for news clippings about myself and what I have done, and I couldn't find. So I probably would have, get a speaking slot at maybe Digital Nigeria and plan for it. It's a whole lot for me. That's my own personal experience. But working with someone would have probably been easier because they are followed through. They know what and what to put together to be able to get it. But France is easy. Just those things, those requirements, and that's it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rednan. I see a couple of eMigr8 questions, so we're just going to spend the last few minutes just to deal with those questions very briefly. But as Rednan was saying, do-it-yourself is an approach that you can choose to use, which is that a lot of information is available. And even on this platform, we're here to support you. Even if you're doing it yourself, you can take a look at the journey. You can take a look at the requirement. The first thing we advise that you do is have a roadmap for yourself. You know what the requirement of this visa is, or if you didn't, watch this replay video again, because we talked about a few of them, and you can do your own research. You can take a look at the government information. You can look at some of those incubators and accelerators and understand some of the things that they require you to fulfill. And that's what you're looking that your profile should meet by time X. Where you are today is then plot a journey to say all of these things. What do I need to do today so that I'm able to reach my goal X? We have the platform to help you for the entire journey. We're building that platform to take you through that journey step by step, unlocking your potential and helping you become globally attractive. And so that's what eMigr8 is all about. I see a number of questions around eMigr8. And so I would just say again that the next step is if you book a coaching session or a one-on-one coaching session with an eMigr8 coach, they will be able to walk you through specifics of what you need. If we need to point to specific resources that we have on the platform, we'll be able to point at that. If you need a particular package, we'll be able to let you know to say, this is the package that will suit you best, and so on. And you can do a lot of things by yourself. If you need help, you can start by sending a message to any of these WhatsApp numbers. It will be in the chat, and it would also be available in the replay, in the comments of this replay video. If you do that, then you can start the journey. Bear in mind that these chats are AI managed, but then eventually you will be able to chat with a real person as part of that entire conversation as well. Just to say again, we have different offerings on the platform. This is the Tech Career Coaching Service, for example, and there are different tools that can help you. So if what you're looking for is landing a role that can offer you sponsorship, you may want to look at the Tech Career offering. If you're working on the UK Global Talent, we have free sessions. And as I mentioned, our next open day, we'll talk about the UK Global Talent Visa. But these are recorded sessions. They are live streamed on the internet. You probably don't want your information and documents in that kind of session. Even Google won't allow that anyway. And so we have closed premium group coaching sessions available that can help you as well. That is available if you're on the premium offering on the eMigr8 platform. You may want to take a look at that. If you've exhausted some of your free short coaching sessions, you may want to look at the subscription model that helps you gain access to this, or you could decide to pay for the session by yourself. We have the UK self-sponsorship route that I mentioned earlier. This is not a visa category. This is a visa route, which means that there are multiple steps for you to land a visa. The specific visa you will land with the UK self-sponsorship route is the UK skilled worker visa, but you will be your own employer. We have an entire journey for how you can land this. This isn't really something we would advise for you to do it yourself. It's possible to do it yourself, but we don't generally advise it. What you could do is look at that as an option. Today, we focused on the French tech visa pathway as a pathway to global mobility in France. And what we did today was just to take a look at the pathway, particularly for entrepreneurs, to stay. You could build a startup. And technically speaking, you don't have to have built the startup. It could just be an idea that you have. And that idea can become your pathway to global mobility, because that idea in itself, as long as you can show you're a genuine founder is a founder that's built a startup before, which is part of why we talk about labs by income in such a session like this. But a genuine founder can also be someone that just has an idea and wants to start from scratch. The key point is these are things that you can look at, and also there are options for investors. If you're an HNI on the community, high net worth individual in the community looking for a pathway to relocation and settlement, take a look at our eMigr8 elite offering. Our elite offering are for high net worth individuals, just to mention that. So it's a premium offering available, but you could take a look at that, and it's part of some of the ones we do as a do it for me approach to relocation and settlement using the tech route, even as an absolute beginner in the field of technology. eMigr8 helps you become globally attractive. We have different services, and over 80% of what we do at no cost to you on the platform. But you would need to sort of determine to say which bucket do you fall. Is it a DIY, do it yourself approach? Is it a DWM, do it for me approach? Or is it a DWM, do it with me approach? Or is it a DIFM, which is a do it for me approach? In all of these approaches, you will still need to become globally attractive. So do it for me doesn't mean that you don't do anything at all. It means that all of the heavy lifting, all of the logistics, all of the things that you need to do, we will actually work with you to help you become globally attractive at that level. Multiple packages available on the platform. And also, if you haven't done so already, download the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. Join the eMigr8 community. You can ask questions in those communities as well. Those communities, we cannot answer your questions in real time, but we will ensure that you get your answer eventually. If you haven't done so by this time, your next step is to download the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. It's available on the Apple Store. It's available on the Google Play Store. And you can use that to continue your journey. And we can continue the conversation even on those. And the last one I'll just talk about before I go is that we mentioned our Settle in the UK as a tech talent package, which is also available on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. It's a package that helps you your journey towards 3 different visas at the same time. Your destination is become globally attractive, but we chart a pathway with you, a personalized roadmap with you that will qualify you for the UK Global Talent, the UK Skilled Worker Visa, and the UK Innovator Founder Visa. And that journey is a 6 months, minimum 6 months journey, 6 months to 1 year really journey. And what that does is that within that time, you can become globally attractive, particularly if you already have transferable skills from other fields maybe not technology, and you have transferable skills, and that could help you become globally attractive, thereby attracting these visas, all of which comes with settlement in mind. We have packages for France. We have the Canada startup visa. There was a question about that in the chat, which we also support on the platform. However, the Canada startup visa is not at the idea stage like the UK Innovator Founder Visa. It's not at the idea stage like the French Tech Visa for entrepreneurs. it is at a stage where your startup has already started getting traction. And so what you're saying to the Canadian, and we do have some accelerators who are in our community, which we can introduce you to. What you are saying to them is that your startup has built traction in your home economy. Now you want to expand it to Canada. And a lot of times when you expand to Canada, what you're doing is also using Canada as a springboard to expand to North American market. That is when you can qualify for something like the Canada Startup Visa. We have other routes on Canada routes that are also coming and launching on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. And so if you haven't done so already, join the platform, take advantage of the opportunities available to you. There are free ones, there are premium ones, there are premium ones. And if you're an elite in the room on this session as well, we're happy to speak with you on different pathways which you would need to invest in startups. There are investment routes that can help you move and relocate to the different countries of the world. The key information we want to say again is that if you are globally attractive, you have options. You have options of moving, staying in your home economy and working globally. You can work as an outsourced worker. You can build your startup to export to different parts of the world. And so you are bringing foreign exchange in. You can build your talent so that you actually work in your local economy with companies within your local economy, but you are globally attractive with options. But if you so decide to say, oh, I want to move to a new jurisdiction, that's fine as well, because in that new jurisdiction, they will value your skill, they will value your experience, they will value your innovation. And because of that, you can move your family to that jurisdiction. But eMigr8 even helps with what they currently call reverse migration, which is actually still migration. Reverse migration is if you built your talent in a different economy and you're looking to move back to a developing economy, eMigr8 can actually help that journey as well, using our coaching marketplace, using the artificial intelligence that we have on the platform. We've fine-tuned model. We have AI agents that can actually help you do a lot of different things at the moment. We have task management. We have a lot of things available to help you become globally attractive. And so we hope to see you on the platform, and we hope to be able to be a fantastic part of your journey. Thank you so much, Rednan, for being with us for this session. This is as
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you so much. We really do appreciate your time on the platform. And thank you to all community members. Don't forget, if you are on this call at this time, you've won yourself that short coaching session. So please redeem it. Let them know in the community to say you've won that coaching session. The community manager will take a look at your profile and then be able to log an extra session in your profile on the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. It's been done manually today, but it's part of the things we're building automation for so that all of this is automated on the platform. Looking forward to seeing you on the other side. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely rest of the day. Rednan, thank you.